When Joel Embiid went to the basket against Cleveland the other night, little did I know how much controversy this one little drive would cause. Of course, this was the 8th foul drawn by Embiid in this game alone, so anyone watching on national TV might have felt frustrated by how much bigger and stronger he appeared while also benefiting from the ref's whistle. Embiid has clearly become a villain with all his flailing and initiating contact, but then getting bailed out by the referees. There is no shortage of clips to be found of Embiid's aggressive moves causing contact, oftentimes ending up in some sort of provocative dive to the floor for emphasis. But there's a subtle thing he's doing on many of his fouls drawn, and it's not only the kind of thing you might miss, but could also enrage fans who think this is the ultimate form of foul baiting. If you look closely, Embiid is gathering the ball on the same foot he's jumping off of. Normally, players use their legal 2 steps after the gather to drive to the basket, but the problem with this is that the defense can time their jump and contest these shots more easily without fouling. By changing the normal cadence on these drives, Embiid is catching the defense by surprise, and when the clear contact occurs, he is also in the act of shooting. We don't normally see such big guys displaying complicated guard skills, and as a result, it seems like people expect them to execute what they perceive to be tougher moves with traditional footwork. Against Jared Allen, he drives right and is not shy at getting into Allen's body. Watch how Embiid gathers here on the right step, and then jumps in the same motion, forcing the ref to blow his whistle. While the Harden rule was implemented to stop him from earning free throws when the foul occurred before he got both hands on the ball to go up into a jump shot, this does not apply to drives to the basket, as we see Embiid is lifting his left arm up into Allen's arm for tons of contact while the ball is still in his right hand. Nonetheless, he should be awarded free throws by catching Allen with the quick jump off the one, causing all this extra contact that must be penalized. This is in stark contrast to a guy like Kevin Durant, who almost always goes off the 2 on his drives as he draws contact and finishes. This resembles a more traditional play, and as a result, fans aren't calling him out for foul baiting. This play against the Cavs was so upsetting to fans, I had to bring in Ronnie Nunn, who was an NBA official for 19 years and director of development for 5 more. Ronnie, I'm so glad that you're here. How does this play out with the rule book and why the referees made the call they made?
The key to this play is they're like 2 vectors. If you could talk about physics of contact, what happens is 2 people are going to the same point. And the key is to beat the player to the spot. It's not like Embiid changed his pathway where he caught the inside shoulder of Wade or anybody like that. He just beat him to a spot to where Wade did not get there before he did.
This is actually a skill in my mind where he can pick the ball up early. He is going off of the first step instead, which catches him off guard. So are we sure that this is a legal shooting foul where this would yield free throw attempts?
Yeah, it is. And you explained it very well. The fact that he created a lure by going off the wrong foot early is another method for a player that's offensively minded. Just a smart play because he can't get further, but he can go up and arrhythmically catch that defender out of place.
Embiid is also a master at anticipating contact so that he can gather and jump at the same moment of impact, both frustrating his defender who ends up getting caught with their hand in the cookie jar, and fans who are watching who don't think this is a real shot. Again, Davis makes contact on his right forearm while the ball is in Embiid's left hand. AD is clearly not ready for Embiid to so quickly get up into that shot, and it's not for the refs to decide what is a good shot and what isn't. As a result, you get a one-footed runner from 17 feet that he might not ever shoot when wide open, but a shooting foul nonetheless. Here are 3 other moves from this year that would appear to be awful plays that go against the spirit of the game. But if we dig deeper into what he's doing, I think you'll see that underneath it all, Joel Embiid is most likely using Manscaped to help put so many of his balls in the hoop. Their brand new face shaver is called the Handyman. The most important feature is the dual blade that gets you a quick, close shave. It can handle up to 3 days of growth, it's waterproof for quick and easy cleanup, the battery is rechargeable, and gives you up to 60 minutes of runtime on a single charge. It also features skin-safe technology designed to help reduce nicks and cuts. Best of all, I can save you 20% off this beauty by visiting manscaped.com and using my code BBALL. It'll definitely help keep Embiid's beard nice and tight so he can continue to lead the league in free throws attempted, primarily by catching defenders off guard. However, this play might not have been as kosher as you might think, but Embiid is able to get him on this one, I suppose we'll call it. But let's walk us through the cadence here and why this also is a foul. I think that Lakers fans were pretty upset. Again, what do you see here that violates the rules in favor of Embiid?
There's something else going on here. Embiid does something that our official at the bottom of the screen must recognize and must put his 2 cents in, so to speak. Watch Embiid clamp Davis. He clamps him with the right arm to where he can't get his arm away. Now, somebody would say, well, are we dealing with a block or are we dealing with the arm? You're dealing with probably something that occurs for both players. And in this situation, the referees on the upper side of the screen can only see the upper side of the play. The bottom referee can see that Embiid has also clamped Davis to where he can't move away from him or slide with him. I would have stepped in, did a double whistle, hand up saying, let me have this play. I've got the first incident as the issue. I recognize you guys may have the second one, but you can't see that clamp and I can. And that clamp is what creates Davis attached to him. So that makes it look like it's definitely a blocking foul.
Well, let's move on to the last clip we have here, which is against the Bucks, and we have Giannis. This one's another one of those drives where Embiid tries to go off the one and get that foul, and you can see that there's a lot of frustration from Damian Lillard and Giannis. They're upset about this, but what do you see in this play that would indicate that the referee blew the whistle?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The only thing that makes for a potential whistle for me is that on this drive from the angle on the backcourt to front court, indicates that either there's a grab, as if you stop it, you can see the left arm wrapped around Embiid by Giannis. Now, if the right arm is in a place to strip the ball and he doesn't get to it, then it would be a foul. But had he not reached around and gone for the strip or anything like that, this would have been a pretty good no call because he was running alongside or laterally moving alongside the driving player, Giannis is. And, that contact is not bad because it really isn't one that really impedes Embiid going to the hoop. You got to take size, strength, speed into this whole account. So on this play would have been fine, except if he's leaning his body into him to try to get a strip of that ball and that wraparound that happens just prior to that potential strip, then we have a problem. And then, he's got no defense, literally, Giannis does, to show that he's played legal defense, because that is not legal defense.
Fair enough. Here's one question I have, though, is when he goes from left to right, the left foot stops right at the elbow of the foul line, and then he goes to his right foot. It feels like the vector of Giannis changes and does start to move directly toward like the sideline more or the corner more, which would then be into Embiid's path, right? Do you see that at all? Does that have any effect? Because that's where then all of a sudden the right shoulder of Embiid contacts the chest of Giannis.
Yeah, I see that. And this, again, I don't really like when we say that the refereeing in NBA basketball or basketball anywhere is subjective. It has a subjectivity to it, but it also has a guideline and an understanding of contact. And we've turned that into those RSBQ contexts. We call it rhythm, speed, balance, quickness. Is the rhythm, speed, balance, or quickness of the offensive player interrupted when you get these kind of close plays or when you get drives to the hoop? So in this scenario, there is no question that foolishly, Giannis makes himself a suspect that going towards Embiid to kind of like, I don't want you to get any closer, so I'm going to kind of see if can I reroute you out towards a straight line so you can't get to the hoop as you wish. So if, in real time, I want to give the benefit to the official if that's what he saw.
For sure. And again, he's doing another one of these gather on the one and jumping off that same foot as he's gathering on, which is early for most players who usually will gather and take at least one more step on the way to the basket. So he's catching Giannis unaware or not quite ready for that. But I would probably say even from the baseline angle, there is a notion that right arm of Giannis does contact the elbow of Embiid too, which is pretty provocative as far as a movement And as he yanks it out, I think as well. So sometimes that's a good indicator too that the defensive player, how when the defenders will pull their hands back real quick, like I didn't do anything, right?
Yeah,
It's a sign that they did. But either way, I think that there's a good explanation and a way of figuring out exactly how difficult it is to guard Embiid. That what I'm hearing is that the referees are telling him directly, it's an impossible situation to try and referee games that you're in, and we're doing the best that we can.
One of the things, of course, a program that I developed called New Hoops IQ is to help players be aggressive, but not be foul prone. So just take that same play and we look at it on the long screen from backcourt to front court. If Giannis would have put his hand on his hip, which is permissible on drives to the hoop, that's not a hand check. If he would have just put his hands on the hip and sort of keep him in place along with playing legal defense, he would not have been able to get the other arm, his right arm, in play. He could have defended him right on down the lane line. Coaches really don't know what referees are doing concerning how to defend plays. And this is a reason for the program, New Hoops IQ, to teach people how you can play defense and make Embiid miss his shot without fouling him.
Well, Ronnie, thanks so much for coming on the show and bringing this down for us. I really, really appreciate it. Looking forward to even more plays as they come up throughout the rest of the season.
Absolutely, Coach. It's always great to be with you. And it's an education for all of us as we break down in detail plays and actions of the great players of the NBA.
And don't forget, sports fans, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in? Are you in, Ronnie?
I'm in, Coach. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you.